nice meeting with you today, and this should be relatively short and simple. So what we're going to do is walk through first the applicant side, just so that you see how this is working for your applicants to be able to view job listings and then apply for those. And then from there, we'll go, and I'm going to log in with the same type of login that you have. It's a posting manager login. So I'll show you how you can, when you get logged in, you can view your applicants, you can update statuses and put in notes regarding their disposition. And then you can also, if you need to add a new job listing, how you can do that. So that's the overlay. So we're looking at the page that your applicants are going to look at, your visitors, potential applicants, I guess. And particularly if they're coming from your corporate website, then this is where they'll be landing in the future. And they'll be able to see all 31 of your jobs. They could, of course, filter if they wanted to look at some subset. They can also they can go to your corporate site and they can share it with others via their social media contacts. Most of your visitors are coming in via the Indeed.com website, largest site in the U.S. by a pretty good stretch. And so when they come in, they are going to specific job listings. So it's actually true on this page as well as the prior page that these, the view for your applicants is going to be mobile optimized. So when they see this, if you're looking at it on a computer, you're seeing what we're seeing. But if you're looking at it on a cell phone, for instance, then you're going to see the left half of this, and the right half is going to be down below. So they can view the listing. If they're on a cell phone, they may not want to use their thumbs to complete the application, so they may email it to themselves. So that's pretty handy. And then if they do have a LinkedIn profile, they could just click on that link. And it's a nice little shortcut to get their name and email address into the system, given, of course, it works. Come on. That's kind of weird. There we go. All right, so it'll fill it in for them. So it's not a huge deal, but it's a little bit of a time saver. In this system, we're validating on email addresses. So when a person puts in their email address, if it's not unique, the system will let them know, and they can log in. And if they don't have or remember a password, they can request their password. So you won't get duplicate applications, the same person applying for the same job more than once, because we're checking on their email address. The rare exception, and it ought to be pretty rare, is someone who actually uses a different email address to try to go in and put in another application. A lot of effort, not many people are going to do that. Okay, so they can scroll down, see the entire application. Even from this screen, they can share it with others via social media. You can do that as well from your side, and I'll show you that in a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and log in, though, as if I'm an applicant returning to your site. And so we have, for your site, a short application. So they see the thank you for applying right up front and a couple of quick instructions. And then from there, they can move on. The next step is job screening questions. So they're specific to each job, and they can be set up so that they're able to, or so that you can have any particular response be a disqualifier. So that is an option that you can use. As a posting manager, you're not setting up these questions. You're just using them if they're attached to the job templates that are already going to be created for you to use when you're setting up a job listing. In addition, we're collecting resumes, or at least an option for them to upload a resume. And in addition to putting in a resume, they can also, well, first off, they can upload it from Dropbox or Google Drive. So even from a cell phone, they can upload a resume, or they can put in a text resume. That's much easier to do from a cell phone, even an iPhone. And they can save that as a text file if they wish. From there, they can move on to the next step so they can see their progress. They can also go out of order if they wish. And there's not too much else. They can tell you where they heard about the job listing. They can look at your disclosure, put in an electronic signature, and then submit the application. So straightforward and simple process for them to complete the application. At any time, your visitors to the site, if they've put in the contact information, as I mentioned, they can log in. If they had started an application previously, they can continue it. If they've already completed an application, they can print it. they can go in and actually start a new application. And the new application can use information that's common, the common sections, job-specific screening questions, and stuff like that. They'll have to do each application that they submit, but they can apply for more than one job, and they can update their own profile information. So you shouldn't have anyone needing to contact you to update their address or anything like that. They cannot edit applications that have been previously submitted, but administrators to the system can, if they need, upload information. So if they have a new resume, for instance, they can't upload the resume to replace their old one, but it could be attached to the system by one of your system administrators. All right, so that's pretty much it from the applicant side. It's very straightforward. They get a lot of flexibility and a lot more ease of use on mobile devices. All right, I'm going to go ahead then, mention I'm going to log in as an administrator. So you're going to know you're on the administrative side because you don't have your graphics up here. However, once you log in, you will have your company name, so you're going to be able to at least know that you're on the right site. What you will see when you log in will depend upon what area you're in. So I'm logged in as a posting manager who has access to the dietary business unit, or department, if you will. And so out of your 31 jobs, these 6 are all in dietary, so this is all I see. If you've got access or if you have a need to post jobs and view applications from more than one department, then yeah, you can see more than one department that's going to be unique to you. And these are real-time analytics that you're going to be able to see here. And so the job that was applied to previously, this is where you see, and I think it's Bubba Sample who applied, started the application, completed the application. So you're going to see over the past 30 days by default, you can change that if you wish. You're going to be able to see the numbers minute by minute potentially change as you have applicants and people who are viewing your job listings. Now you've got because you have a short application, we're not asking up front for the education, prior employers, references, that kind of big 3 there, then you're likely to have a bit better ratio of people who view to complete applications once this site goes live. And if it were a full application, it would be somewhere around 10 to 1, the people who view versus complete an application. So don't be shocked if you see a lot of people viewing but not completing, and a fair amount who start but don't complete the application. People are going to get into there, they're going to get distracted, and if they do get distracted and leave the system, then the system itself is going to prompt those people who started an application but didn't complete it. It will prompt them with an email asking if they'd like to return and complete their application for the job before it closes. Those people who complete the application but they answered one of your screening questions in a way that disqualified them, they don't show up as having met your basic qualifications. So that's the case with this applicant. In fact, it looks like this one may be someone that we manually added an application. In fact, let me just look, see if that changes anything. Oh, no? Okay. So if a person, if one of your applicants completes an application, but let's say they answered that they did not have some experience or did not have a certification or a license on a question where that was marked as a response that would disqualify them, then that's how you'll have a difference between the number of people who complete versus met your basic qualifications. If you haven't put a status for any of your applicants, then you're going to see numbers out here. So this will be essentially your workload indicator. So if you've got this many jobs and you've got a lot of applicants coming in, you may have 50, 60, who knows how many applications that have no status. And so essentially your job is to go in and figure out who is someone you want to follow up with, but to put a status on all of your applications so that you can tell and anyone else can tell what the progress is of each of those applicants. All right, so if we go in and take a look then, you can click on the title or you can click on the magnifying glass, either one, to view the individual application. And okay, so it's Bob Test App. And sure enough, this one was manually added. I've also got a note, so you can hover over that, and sure enough, oh, that's me, Vanguard support guy, who put in a note on the 13th that said this is just a test app. So that explains why our analytics looked the way they did. We didn't have any disqualifying responses, so Bob did actually, being entered as a manual application, didn't have anything disqualified him, but he didn't have anything that qualified him either because it was manually added. Okay, so we changed the status, but you can go in and view the application, and this is the existing view. We're going to be going to the new viewer, so that if you've got a bunch of applications, you're going to see their names and statuses as well. So you can actually click on one after another and go through your applications. You can see what the history is of people viewing this application. So here we are right now viewing this application, but you can see who's viewed it when, who's changed the status. If you want to change the status, you can. You can come in here to do any number of things, but you can update the status, and you can also put in notes. So if you wanted to change the status but explain why you're changing it to the thing that you're changing it to, you can put in a note, update the status, and then save it. All right. I didn't offer earlier, but if you do have any questions as we're going, feel free to ask your questions. There's one thing I didn't cover when we're looking at this page. So if you assume that you've got a number of applications here, so just pretend that was the case. So first off, we could display the screening questions and look at those at the same time as we're looking at all of our applicants. And if you had, let's say, 20 different applications here, you could select all of them. You could maybe go in and uncheck the boxes for some of them, and you could update the status of a number of applications. All of those selected, you could update their status at once, and you could email all of them at once, and ultimately you could archive all of those at once. So those are all options that you've got when seeing your list of applicants for a given job listing. All right, so that's basically it. We do have some other options out here, but that's the thing that's going to be most important for you is just going in and having the opportunity to update your applicants. Let's go over to jobs real quick then. All right, by the way, if you wanted to see for all of these jobs, all of your applicants, you can click on this screen. And so this would be similar to the other one, but instead of job specific, this is all of your most recent applicants on top and scrolling all the way down to the last one that's come in within the last 30-day period or whatever period of time you're looking at. Okay, so you're a hiring manager and you've got these jobs out there, but you need to add a new job. The way you go about that is just click on the plus sign. So first off, you're hoping that there's a template out there because you're not creating new templates, you're using the ones that are there. So let's say that you need to add a, I don't think, let's see, do I have all these? Yeah, I think I do. All right, let's just say I need to hire another cook. So you can, or add another cook position. When you click on this, it's going to populate all the information from the cook template. And part of that's going to be using the screening questions that are already set up. If you need any changes to those, you can talk with your site administrator to help with that. But the information that you're going to be putting in is relatively limited. You're going to be putting in the starting and ending dates. You'll put in, if you have compensation you want to include, fine. If it's a full-time job and has benefits, you definitely want to put that. You will be, you need to select whether it's full-time, part-time, or whatever is the case. You need to select the department that that job is supposed to be in. You probably don't need to choose anything on classification. It's up to you, but you don't need to, so you can skip over that. Should you want to receive an email, it won't contain the application, but if you want to be notified when someone applies for a job, so let's say that you don't anticipate a lot of applicants, you want to be notified as soon as one comes in, then you can select your email address to be notified, and if you only want to see those that meet basic qualifications, check the box. And then finally, you want to make sure you have the correct city in there. When you click on Save and push to Job Boards, it's going to save this, and it's going to move to a next tab. So let me show you what that next tab will look like. It's actually going to look, it's going to be the same tab as what you're going to land on. when you click on the bullhorn next to any one of your job listings. So when you go to there, then you're going to land on this page where you have the same information, but it is information that could be tweaked for job boards. Because if you've looked at Indeed, then you know that unless you log in as one of their users, you're going to see, at least initially, just a short piece of the job listing. So you could potentially put something different at the very top of your job description for the ad boards. So Indeed being the biggest one, then you want to do something that's going to grab people's attention if you're really hoping to get more applicants. The real key things to put here, real important thing is to add keywords. So I would, if nothing else, copy whatever you've got for a job title. I'm assuming that's going to be descriptive of the position, so maybe you could put dietary as well. And actually retirement community would probably be good, so maybe I'd pick up all of that. And well, actually all of these things may be useful except for the city, which you're already going to have. So you could pick up all of these and maybe clean it up a little bit, separate it by commas, add these, and then if you also want to put VanguardResources in here, you can do that. And then you also need to have zip. So it's, if you're looking for what's critical to get or to optimize your number of visitors and applicants from Indeed, have a good job title, have the very first part of your listing be something that will get the attention of applicants. But before they can even see this, they need to be directed there. And the thing that's going to direct them is how relevant this job listing appears to be to their search. So good keywords. You want to have a single city. So you don't want to put Huntsville area. You don't want to put Huntsville or some other city. You just want a single city that Indeed recognizes, and you want a zip code. Then you can save that information. You can go to job feeds. You can add all. There's no reason to be too particular. It's going to Indeed. It's actually being picked up in a feed 4 times a day for them. So it's already going there. So you can save those, and then, oh, I guess that's all we have at this point. So you can, however, if you wish, you could push out to your own Facebook network. I wouldn't imagine that's going to be the case too much, or even a personal Twitter feed. More likely, if you're recruiting and you've got a network of people that you're connected to via LinkedIn, you might want to click on that link. You don't have to do anything other than just share. If you want to put in a line to grab the attention of the people who know you, who are going to be looking at this and say, hey, could really use help. This is a great job, great facility. So if you know of someone who might be good for this, then you might be able to get more people to help you out. And I understand for people who have a good LinkedIn network that this is very effective. And that is actually pretty much it, but there's a little bit more. So let's say that you do want to do a little bit of reporting. When you're on the jobs page, you've got some options over here underneath details. You've got a couple of reports that may be beneficial for you. So a status report can show you how many people are underneath what different status. So it just pops up right below the job listing. Or you can go to your source report, and that'll tell you where people came from. So this one is manually added, so you're not going to have good information here. But once you start getting a bunch of applicants, you're going to be able to see if, for instance, you were paying for a job listing, for instance, you might see if that's actually paying off, if you have people coming in from that source, be it Career Builder or whatever it might be. And I believe that probably is it. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording at this point,